Hi there everyone, my name is DJ, this is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and today I'm looking at all of the cards from Core 2021. I did a quick look at these cards and now I want to do an exhaustive review because I think that they're amazing. This video went a little bit long, so I'm dividing it into 3 different videos that you can see on this channel. So if you see one of them, just know that there's 2 more of them out there. All right, let's take a look at some of these Core 2021 cards. Okay, we're going to skip quite a bit down because a lot of these are not very impressive. I mean, even Demonic Embrace, like some people were saying that, oh, like it can work in a Daxos deck or an enchantment deck, like just not excited about it. Eliminate, I think that we have a lot of cards that can just exile something, but this could be an interesting thing to keep your eye on. Grim Tutor is not a very good tutor, honestly, and people are going to buy it and they're going to put it in their commander decks and they're going to realize it's super duper clunky. But I mean, and it's more expensive than Demonic Tutor. So if you're going full on combo, then maybe you want a Grim Tutor because you need that card. But most of us are just going to realize that it's too expensive for a mediocre tutor. Hooded Blightfang is probably the front runner for most interesting card in this set. 2 and a black for a snake with Death Touch. It's a 1/4. 1/4 Death Touch that blocks everything. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Oh, I love that effect. Just imagine if you have a team of Death Touch, you have Death Touch Tribal. That's just a huge draining effect as it comes at people. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. It has Planeswalker Death Touch. Yes. I think that this is so much fun. I love the draining effect. I really like that it just says deals damage to a Planeswalker. Kaervek the Spiteful, 2 black, other creatures get -1/-1. That includes your creatures. I actually think of Kaervek as more of an enchantment, sort of like a hate piece rather than belonging in any sort of creature deck. Kitesail Freebooter, awesome reprint, not very useful in our format. Liliana Waker of the Dead, 2 black for Liliana, 4 loyalty, +1, each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. Okay, that hits you as well. -3, target creature gets -X until end turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Okay, so we have tick up, everyone discards a card. We have that on Liliana the Veil, and it's mediocre. You know, we have it on Liliana Vess, and it's also mediocre. Okay, killing something. We have that on Liliana of the Dark Realms, and I think that the minus on Liliana Vess of tutoring is better, and the minus of an edict is not as good, but might actually impact the board at a better time because what's going to be in your graveyard with a Liliana Waker of the Dead? -7, we don't really measure Planeswalkers on their ultimate, but it's pretty great. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control, it gains haste. That's awesome. I do like that a lot. I don't think this does enough, and I'm not excited to put it in my commander deck. Liliana's Devotee starts looking good. 2 and a black for 2/3. Zombies get +1/+0. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you pay 1 and a black. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So you think this goes in zombie decks, but it's not a zombie. It's a human warlock. This effect has been around on other creatures for a while, and it turns out that it's not good. You want your lords to stack with each other to bring each other up. And so I think that people are going to try out Liliana's Devotee and be really underwhelmed by him. Liliana's Standard Bearer is 2 and a black for a 3/1 zombie knight with flash. Flashy knights, I like that. When it enters the battlefield, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn under your control. Okay, so basically a couple creatures die, you flash this in and you draw a couple cards. I like this a lot. I think that you only need to draw 1 card, which is very easy to do. So if you think about this as like a morbid, flashy zombie knight draw card, yeah, that's totally fine. But just think about being able to totally refill your hand. You could tack in with a bunch of zombies. You are an aristocrats deck and you sacrifice your whole board and then you flash this in and you draw 5 or 6 cards. This is very good, very good, very good. I love it. Let's see here. Massacre Worm! Wormy Boy is back. This card is amazing. It wasn't reprinted since Mirrodin Besieged. Look at this art. This box topper art with the smiling Massacre Worm. Ah, I love it. This card is great and really solid for our format. It's this mini board wipe, but more importantly, you can just start destroying your opponent because every single time you kill one of their creatures, they just get drained and drained and drained and drained. So sometimes a board wipe just kills everyone. It's so good. Peer into the Abyss. For black. I'm not excited. Sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. Blah. The only reason why I like this now is because I'm wondering if I can point it at an opponent and make them lose half their life, and then like something like wound reflection them to death. That'd be pretty cool. Or just imagine if they took damage for each card they drew. So literally, like you have a Nekusar on the battlefield, and you're like, all right, 7 mana, I'm going to Nekusar, I'm going to peer into the Abyss you, and you're going to draw 30 cards, and you're going to lose 30 life, and you're going to have your life cut in half, and it's going to be disastrous. It's going to be great. All right. Let's look at the shrine here. Sanctum of Stone Fangs. Love it. We're going to talk about shrines later. My heart goes out to you, shrines. Nope. This one. Thieves Guild Enforcer. 1 black for a flashy 1/1. When Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer has +2/+1 and has Death Touch. A 1 mana flashing 3/2 Death Touch is a good card even for our format. I also like that it could be like a rogue enabler. You know, rogue decks are pretty cool if Prowl is still a thing. But more importantly, I think that this is going to be cool in other formats more than ours. Veto, Thorn of the Dust Rose. 2 and a black for a 1/3 legendary vampire cleric. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. So basically this is going to end up doubling your damage. If you swing in with a bunch of different creatures, you give them all lifelink, they deal a lot of damage, whether it's to players or to creatures, and then you drain that opponent for that much. So it's really great for big swings, but also this is a combo enabler with like things like Sanguine Bond, Exquisite Blood in that same vein. So Veto can be really strong. And that's it. So let's take a look at the cutest card on here and the best art and the best card. We're going to go with this little snaky boy. Look at how cute he is. He's like, I mean, yeah, he's like super poisonous and stuff, but snakes are cute. I like snakes. All right, let's then look at the best art of this set. And this one, Alchemist's Gift, is my call for best art. I think I like this like manifestation of magic. I think this looks really cool. I was tempted to pick the shrine again. Let's go and look at the shrine because it also looks epic. It like the fangs, like it looks like you're going into this crazy area and there are these fangs of a snake. But you know, it's definitely not the weird, creepy faces for eyes and faces for mouths over and over again Inception thing. It's not that for sure. Okay, and the card that I'm most excited about, besides Massacre Worm, you know, is actually gonna be Veto. Veto's solid. Man, Veto's going to be great. Life gain decks are already fun, and then being able to throw Veto in those decks is going to be really good. All right, red has got a lot of good stuff, so let's start off with Brash Taunter. 4 and a red for a 1/1 goblin that's indestructible. Whenever Brash Taunter is dealt damage, deals that much damage to target opponent. 2 and a red tap, Brash Taunter fights another target creature. This is Stuffy Doll. Same CMC, indestructible, but the tap ability is so much better. It fights any big creature and deals that damage. Also, Stuffy Doll, you have to choose the player, and Brash Taunter can spread that damage around. This works so well because red is naturally where you want this. You want this in decks where you are going to be playing things like Blasphemous Act and, Shaundra's Ignition and crazy damage effects, Star of Extinction, because then you can 13 or 20 or just deal tons of damage to your opponents. And there's a ton of different decks that work. One thing that stinks is that a lot of times this is in Boros, not just in red. And so I love that this effect is existing just in red rather than Boros. And I'm so excited to put this in other decks because there are infinite combos that go with this. And I love that it's indestructible too. I mean, I have I'm looking behind me for my deck. Where is it? I have a Diao Chen Artful Beauty deck that this Brash Taunter will slot into perfectly. All right, Shaundra, Heart of Fire, 3 red for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library, and you can play them this turn. What? This turn? Oh gosh, I have to discard my hand? I don't know. +1, deal 2 damage to any target. All right, I mean, how many cards do I need to have access to, or how much damage do I have to do to make this Shaundra worthwhile? Honestly, I think that there's way more powerful card draw effects in red now, so that we don't need this crazy version of discarding your hand. I don't know. Even the ultimate is not that great. -9, search your graveyard and library for any number of red and instant sorcery spells, exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn and add 6 red. So in 1v1, this is like a guaranteed win. It has to be. I'm going to get all 4 of my bolts and, I'm going to 12 you and then do something else. I don't know. But in Commander, this is not good enough. So I don't think it's going to see any play. Shaundra's Incinerator, on the other hand, oh boy, 5 and a red for a 6/6, 6 mana 6/6, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to opponents this turn. Okay, non-combat doesn't necessarily mean it has to come from instants and sorceries. You could have a pinger deck where you Goblin Sharpshooter them. You could have the Heartless Hitotsugu, where you're dealing damage to everyone, tons of damage. So you could have a Rakdos Lord of Riots deck, where you naturally have effects that deal tons of damage to your opponents. Okay, so that's not a big issue. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Shaundra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. I was really hoping it was about to double up damage. So this is the Satyr Fire Dancer version. I know it's non-combat damage, so it could be all of these activated abilities. It could be Perforos. I don't know. I very rarely find that I want to be throwing around damage on my opponent's creatures like this. But do you know what? Hang on. If I'm playing Perforos and I've played a creature, great, and I've dealt, 2, 4, 6 damage, and then I play Shaundra's Incinerator for 1 red and deal 6 more damage, and I have a 6/6 trample that can incidentally take out my opponent's creatures. Okay, I can see it. I can see this in some specific decks. Moving on. We have, oh my gosh, Conspicuous Snoop. red for a 2/2 Goblin Rogue. Play with the top card of your library revealed. Downside, you may cast goblin spells from the top of your library. Huge upside. Huge upside. As long as the top card of your library is a goblin card, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card. We didn't need that third part. We did not need that, and we got it. I mean, this is so good in goblin decks. This is insane. Goblin Recruiter has you take any number of goblins and just stack the top of your deck. And then Snoop can literally help you play them all. There are goblins that generate mana too. So you could just stack everything. And in fact, I guarantee that there's a way to combo. It gains all activated abilities. Have you heard of a goblin called Kiki Jiki? That is a one with a crazy activated ability. So honestly, Conspicuous Snoop is going to be just a crazy card for goblin decks. I mean, Just slam dunk inclusion. People are gonna love it. Double Vision. 3 red for an enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. It's not every single spell. It's just the first spell. Swarm Intelligence copies every spell. I know it's in blue and I know it's 7 mana, but it's every single spell. I also like 1,000 Year Storm. This is a copy effect. You know, the first one doesn't copy, but then you basically get storm triggers for every other copy after this. Yes, this is a crazy good card and it gets out of control. This is the card I want to play, not Double Vision. I think I'd rather play like Bonus Round or something like that. Okay, Fiery Anticipation. Man, Corset has been over the top, and this is even more over the top for this type of enchantment. 3 red. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead. Oh my gosh. So the first thing to think about is that this is not symmetrical. This is not Furnace of Wrath or the other one that flashes in where everything takes double damage. This is one where you deal double damage only. So we've recently seen this on Obosh, you know, but there's a big downside. You need odd things and it only doubles. Okay, so 6 mana triples only your stuff. Obosh only doubles your odd stuff. That's just crazy. Okay, let's look at another one. Angrass Marauders. 7 mana. By the way, both of these aren't creatures, so totally easy to take out. Doubling the damage to that permanent player instead. Okay, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, the one thing that I can compare it to is Gisela, which doubles damages from you and then halves the damage that's dealt to you. So this is a 7 mana, 2 color, crazy angel that's very powerful, and it still isn't doing the same amount of damage that Fiery Emancipation is doing. So yeah, we got ourselves a big splashy red spell. I love it. Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. 3 in a red for a 5/4 flying dragon. What? 3 in a red? Or 2 in a red? I can't even say it right. It's the mana cost is so crazy. Okay. Can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. In artifact decks, you're going to have 4 or more pretty easily. And this actually gives you artifacts. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. So you're going to create treasures. So you're going to get mana. You're going to be able to attack with this. This is going to be just a great card. But you're going to need it in aggressive. Actually, a 5/4 dragon's just big, man. I have a dragon deck and 5/4 dragons beat people down. I think it's good. I mean, obviously there's hoops. It doesn't go in every deck. All right. I want to mention Goblin Wizardry, 4 CMC. That's 3 in a red for an instant. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature. Let me start that over. 3 in a red for an instant. Create 2 1/1 red goblin wizard creature tokens with prowess. I like goblins with prowess. I like this art. I think it's interesting that it's an instant. That's really cool, even though it might not fit into a lot of different decks. Okay. Let's go down and mention this shrine. So nice. Then we have Subira Tulzidi Caravaner. 2 in a red for a 2/3 legendary human shaman with haste. Pay 1, another target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Okay. 1 in a red, discard your hand. Until end of turn, whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh, that can really refill your hand if you've got a lot of creatures. So whenever I hear power 2 or less, I think Alesha. The problem is that Alesha has 3 power, so this can't let Alesha through. But I've seen a lot of decks that kind of revolve around this, you know, amassing low power creatures and just getting them in for damage. And this honestly has built into it a pretty cool ability where you have a bunch of creatures, you don't have much in hand, and you're like, okay, let's pay 5 mana. Unblockable, unblockable, unblockable. Pay 2, tap. I'm going to draw 3 cards. That's, you know, some amount of damage, and it's 3 cards. And so I can see this working. Although it's a lot of hoops, and I think it needs a very specific deck, like a very specific deck. All right, let's get to the thing that I'm excited about. Terror of the Peaks. 3 red for a 5/4 flying dragon. Spells your opponents cast to target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. So just a little bit of sweetness when they try to cast a removal spell. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield in your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. What? Okay, in dragon decks, we love Scourge of Alkis, a 5-mana dragon that basically says when a dragon enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to the number of dragons. So a lot of times you're dealing like 2 or 3 or 4 damage. But now we have dragons entering the battlefield dealing damage equal to their power? That's in anywhere too. Any target, planeswalkers, creatures, straight to the face. Man, so good. This is Warstorm Surge on a creature. Warstorm Surge is a 6-mana enchantment that I recommend you play to close out games in budget decks because it's sitting around $1. Man, Terror of the Peaks is solid. Oh, I'm going to need this in dragon decks. I'm going to need this in like sort of like damage-based creature decks. I mean, you just have to answer this in a creature deck, don't you? Like you just play another creature and suddenly you're dealing 5 and you still have the creature out. I love it. I like the reprint of Thrill of Possibility. Transmogrify is a very cool effect because it's this polymorph effect. It's also, I wish that this was instant speed so that you could instantly like trick your own creature or, get rid of your opponent's creatures. And we have other polymorph effects that are a little bit better in red. I like, no, I'm losing it. I know the art, I swear. It's got Undaunted. Divergent Transformations. It's at instant speed. It's going to cost 4 in most situations and exile 2 target creatures. So you need 2 creatures. So Divergent Transformations is definitely going to be sort of a better version than Transmogrify in commander decks. So I'd go with that one. All right. Or Luca. Luca does this too, which is pretty cool. Turn to slag. Nope. Volcanic Salvo can just be a red burn spell. Okay, let's talk about the cutest card, the card that I want as a pet in my life. It's got to be Bolt Hound. It looks like a kangaroo to me. Could you imagine a cute little dog that also looks like slightly like a kangaroo dog? I like that. I like that a lot, and I want that in my life. The art that I think is the coolest is got to be this Terror of the Peaks. You got to love just a big old menacing dragon just like looming over stuff. It's so cool. And then the card that I'm most excited by is Conspicuous Snoop Man. This thing is broken. I want to build a goblin deck like right now. Right now, I want to build a goblin deck. I want to build goblin combo aristocrats. Oh my gosh. Give me your list for goblin combo aristocrats. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me at looking at these cards. Remember, this is broken up into 3 different videos, so go ahead and check out the other ones if you haven't already. Remember that I love Cool Stuff Inc. and my patrons and you and Magic and Truffle Snout. Bye-bye.